It's another Monday in Paris, and that means another episode of the Earful Tower. As always, unfalteringly, unfailingly, I'm here in the studio on Monday to present this episode. The Earful Tower is brought to you by the people at French Today. That is a language company teaching you French, modern French, traditional French, any French you like, via audiobooks. And yeah, they sponsor this show, so I'm going to speak about them at the very end of the episode. Hang around if you want to find out how to get the link to get you a 10% off, a further 10% off all of their audiobooks. Spoiler alert, it's frenchtoday.com/earful2. Otherwise, listen to the end of the episode for more on that. But I figured before we get into today's episode, which is a young Frenchman named Antoine Litaise, who's talking about French dining etiquette, I thought firstly I'd tell you the story about how this came about, this episode, but also have a little talk about the videos that I've been doing because, I just put a lot of time into it. It'd be a shame not to talk about it. So if you're just here for Antoine, you should skip forward a couple of minutes because you're just going to be stuck with me for a while. But first, how the story came about is I was playing basketball with a French guy called Arnaud, who was telling me about this company that essentially does dinner at French people's houses. They're in 120 countries around the world, this French company right now, but it started in France. And the idea is you go and have dinner at a chef's house or someone who's good at cooking, and you get to, you get to hang out with them, you get to taste their version of dinner, you get to spend some time with them. Anyway, Arnaud was telling me about this, and then I was talking about this podcast. Next thing I know, the CEO of the company's on the phone inviting me for dinner. So I went along for a dinner, which was really fantastic. It was at a master chef winner's home, and he cooked for 13, I think, people, a bunch of sort of journalists and bloggers, and me, the only Anglophone podcaster in the room, along with all these sort of journalists from France and Paris. It was pretty fun. It was a really good experience, and these guys aren't sponsoring the show or anything. I can highly recommend doing this exact thing, especially if you get the same chef that I did. That was really brilliant. All the links are in the show notes below. But it was cool to do an episode with a French person. Usually I do Americans, Australians, Brits, and so on. So this gave us a bit of an insight, and we angled it around the idea of French dining etiquette. So have a listen to that if you plan to, eat at a French person's house or have a French person around to your dinner, so that you know what they expect. And there were a few things in there that I didn't know about, things about a woman's role in dinner and the traditional, how I'd sort of misinterpreted the traditional look at how women are involved in a dinner party. We also talk about funny things like sending flowers earlier in the day. Never heard about that one. You'll hear about that later. Anyway, it's all here in the episode with Antoine. But I also want to talk about these videos that I've been doing, because this was a huge thing for me. I did a live video on YouTube for the public with the grace of the Patreon supporters who deep down made it possible, really. I did the kind of things that I do behind that Patreon paywall for the public in the express hopes of building up my YouTube channel. Now, why would I be building up a YouTube channel? Well, to get into it's called like the Partners Program with YouTube. You need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. So 4,000 hours worth of your stuff being watched. And I took a look at my YouTube channel, and if you've seen it before, you'll know almost all the videos are 1 minute, kind of trailers for other things that I've done, or little sort of language intriguing things. And it turns out to get to 4,000 hours of watch time when all your videos are 1 minute long, it essentially takes forever. So what I decided to do was to do a live video every single day. I hope that you've gone and watched them, and if you haven't, you can go and watch the replays. It worked really well. I got, I don't know exactly how many, I think it was 1,300 hours of watch time out of it, meaning I'm almost across the limit, and I suspect that in the coming days when people are watching the replays, it'll cross over, and being part of the members, what did I call it? The partner program means it's much easier to essentially monetize a channel, which is what I'm still fighting to do with the podcast and with the YouTube channel and the videos, all part of this journey that's been going for 2 years now, and it's getting along quite nicely. Anyway, the reason I bring this up is if you haven't checked it out or you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel or you haven't watched any of the videos, do me a favor, go and watch it, even if you just leave it on in the background or force your dog to sit there and watch it, so at least I feel like someone's watched it. And check it out. I did a sunrise at the Eiffel Tower. I did a sunset at the Notre Dame. I walked around Place Dauphine, the Champs-Élysées, essentially the 7 wonders of Paris. Oh, I also did a video with Slim and the Beast walking along the Canal Saint-Martin. and they were singing their songs, including the song from the honeymoon season of the Eiffel Tower, Go for a Ride. They sang it right at the end of the video. Go and check that out. And the last one, I went to Versailles with Bike About Tours. So I've been all over the town this week, and it just reminded me what a magnificent city that I live in. But if you want to share in that magnificence, I'm not saying the videos are magnificent, but I sure am saying Paris is. Go and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Watch one of the videos. Do me the favor. It'll help me get to the next level, which I'm really hoping to do. And the idea is, I think, when I can officially sort of monetize this stuff, is I can put it back into the podcast to make it better. And one of the things I've been thinking about doing lately is hiring someone who is a professional filmer and a video editor to come and follow me on some of these crazy journeys that I get up to and put together proper video packages as well, because I think there could be some fun stuff in there for you guys to watch. So get to it, help me out, give me a watch, and if you really like the stuff, sign up on Patreon, patreon.com/the Eiffel Tower, and you can watch those kind of live videos all the time. At least one a week I do for the subscribers. So go and get your teeth around that, get your eyes around that, and your ears around that. But let's get into today's episode. It's Antoine Litaise from Voulez Vous Diner. He's talking about dining etiquette. He's from France. He speaks with a French accent. You'll feel like you're in France. And let me know if you learned anything. Send me a comment, send me an email. Love reading your emails. And thanks for all you guys who've been in contact recently. So sit down at the table, get your knife and fork ready. Don't use the knife for the salad. You'll hear more about that in a second. Fill up your wine glasses, enjoy a meal with me and Antoine. Here comes Voulez Vous Diner, talking about French dinner etiquette. Here we go. Antoine, am I pronouncing your name sufficiently well?
Yeah, that's great.
Because when you were in Ireland, what did they say?
Most of the time they were calling me Anthony because what was much more easier for them.
Right.
Yeah.
English speakers have a habit of changing the French language to suit us a little bit better. But you guys do the same thing. French people automatically call me Olivier.
Olivier, yeah. It's much more French than Oliver. We really think of Oliver Twist.
Really? But if you do think of Oliver Twist, do you call him Oliver Twist or Olivier Twist?
Oliver Twist.
So why do so many people call me Olivier then?
I have no idea. Because when we read it, most of the time it comes in our mind that it's Olivier, not Oliver.
Right. So it's very rare for me to have a French guest on the show. Usually I have Americans and English people. So this is great. You can really answer some questions that I've got.
Sure.
And you said to me right before we started that you liked cooking.
I love cooking.
Tell me what kind of stuff you like to cook.
Like all of the French basic stuff, like bœuf bourguignon, blanquette de veau, all of those, and as well as Italian stuff like risotto. And I'm living in Marseille near the Mediterranean Sea, so I love to cook sea product as well.
Right. And so you said to me before that you're from Lille in northern France.
Yeah.
Moved to Marseille, which is that a normal choice for a young Frenchman to make?
Basically, I follow my parents.
Right.
That went in Marseille for the sun.
Yeah.
So just spent a weekend over there. And when they came back in Lille, they said, okay, we have to go there.
Yeah.
The quality of life is much better. We've got the sun and much more luminosity.
Right. But you don't think, when you come to Paris, you don't feel a desire to live in Paris?
No, I love the sea. And it's such a pleasure when you, I always travel with my scooter.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I drove a scooter from Paris to Marseille.
Really?
Have you ever done such a trip?
No.
No, I don't recommend it. It's a big trip. But what? So when in Marseille you can go up to the big, what is it, Basilica at the top there?
Oh yeah, Notre Dame de la Garde.
Yeah. Do you ever go up there on your scooter?
Yeah, I only got a 50, so
yeah, me too.
Sometimes it's quite hard to get up on the hill when you've got the passenger.
Right.
So.
I thought though the scariest bit was on the way down because it's so steep.
Yeah.
It's so I don't like people listening. You have to imagine this basilica is extremely high on a very steep hill with a magnificent view. But coming down, especially I had two. It was me and my wife with a lot of luggage on, and I was nervous that the brakes would die.
Yeah.
That's scary.
The first time I've been in Marseille, there's a small train that go up to the hill and a touristy visit or something. Sure. And when we went down, I was just like, wow.
Oh my God. I wonder, is it the same train that they have in Paris? That one that goes around Montmartre?
Yeah, I think it's the same kind of train.
Yeah.
Look like a old locomotive.
Right. As much as I'd love to talk about trains in Marseille, we're here to talk about food and dining. And saying you love to cook and you run a company about dining in people's houses, I figured that we could go over these sort of the golden rules of dining with French people.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm nervous because, well, I'm lucky because it's very rare that I'm invited to anything, let alone a French dinner party. But you and I will be going to one tomorrow night together, right?
Yeah, will be really good. And the host.
And what's the deal with the host? Like
He won MasterChef in 2012.
So he won the French MasterChef?
French MasterChef on the web, yeah.
Oh my goodness, right. So we're expecting some good...
Yeah, it's an architect, basically, that decide to go in food and in creating, like... He was creating buildings and he started creating patient.
Right. So his food has a sort of there's sort of a bit of mathematical.
You will figure it out.
I'm excited, but I'm glad that we're meeting before the dinner because you can walk me through some of these golden rules for eating, and we've got a list that you've sort of brought in with you here. And we just walk through it and you'll explain it. And the idea is that anyone listening, wherever you are in the world, is maybe one day you'll be hosting a French person for dinner. Maybe one day you'll be going to a French person's house for dinner. And we don't want you to make any mistakes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the first thing that you mentioned, it's not alphabetical, but it begins with A. It's apéro.
Apéro,
So you've got to expect an apéro. And you'll have to explain this to me.
Yeah, most of the time, apéro is like... You go to your house or to the house of your friends, and you start like the evening by drinking like a glass of wine, of rosé, or some liquor like pastis in south of France. Depends on the regions. Every region's got its special apéro.
Right. What do you do in Marseille?
In Marseille, it's pastis, Ricard. It's the most famous anise drinks.
Yeah.
Basically, it's just a liquor on which you add water.
It's quite nice because it's like in fact, I was drinking Ricard last night with our mutual friend Arnaud, who's from Normandy and happens to love it. But it's like a whole, with the ice cubes and the water. It's like an art to making this. What's essentially just a.
Yeah, and you can also add like different syrups, mint or whatever, and each drinks becomes like with a new name. One is called perroquet, tomatoes, when it's with grenadine.
Right.
And depends on all of that.
Cool. Okay, so you got to be prepared for an apéro, which is short for apéritif.
Apéritif, yeah. It means like maybe the beginning of a party.
Right. So if you go into one of these parties, like a French dinner party, and you're expecting an apéro, what if you don't feel like drinking? Is that considered bad form or?
I don't think so, but like most of the people do it.
Okay.
And basically, you are in the living room at the beginning. You start drinking one or two drinks, and after you go at the table, and start dining.
And before, what we could have talked about is we can rewind it a little bit. There's two things to talk about before you even arrive at a dinner party.
Yeah.
One is what to bring, and the other is what time to arrive.
Exactly.
Which you can walk me through them.
I think like in France, it's quite normal to arrive like a bit late. If you're invited to like a birthday party or something, most of the people will tell you to come at 8:30, and it's quite normal to arrive at 8:45.
Right.
Like there's around like 50 minutes.
So where's the cutoff point? If I arrive at 9 o'clock for a dinner party, too late.
Depends on what the time you were asked to be there.
Yeah.
After that. Depends, but the thing is going to be around like 15 minutes.
Yeah. So I was like 8 minutes late to meet with you today.
That's fine.
That was fine.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So what would have been too late today? 10 minutes?
More than 15, I think.
More than 15.
Yeah.
Why is that French people don't mind the fashionably late day?
I don't know. It depends also on the different regions of France.
Yeah.
Like in the south, we are really calm and we don't really mind. And most of the people say that people in the south are just like too relaxed, and compared to the one in the north.
Yeah.
So
what's it like in Lille?
In Lille, I think people are more punctual.
Yeah.
There's much more punctuality over there.
I wonder why. Maybe it's because it's colder up there.
Yeah, they want to get back in.
Yeah, or they don't want to be stuck outside. What about arriving early?
I don't think it's after. I think it really depends on the kind of people you're meeting.
Yeah.
In a way, like if it's for professional diner or something, you should come like at the time or just 5-10 minutes before.
Yeah.
But like most of the people are always a bit late. So
Well, someone told me that you should never arrive early to anything in France.
yeah, because most of the people come later, so you will be like
True.
alone in a way.
But maybe they're like it's offensive to the host if you come. It's like, I told you to come at 8:30. Why are you here at 8:15? What's the point? No?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, what would you do if you had friends coming around and they came early?
Yeah, sometimes, especially like for dinner, if you don't have everything prepared yet,
Mm.
and you said that specific time,
Mm.
and you are late because of what you've done during the day, you went late at home and stuff. So yeah, I would just like leave my guest on the living room
Yeah.
with an apéro.
Yeah.
I think apéro is at that point a good way to let people wait for the other to come.
Yeah.
So you start drinking and you start enjoying and waiting for the other to come with some actions starting
Right.
at the beginning of the dinner.
So basically, don't arrive early, I think. Otherwise, it's better not to.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
it's
you'll
better
feel
not
like
to.
you're waiting in doctor's surgery with a glass
Yeah.
of Ricard in your hand. Yeah. Okay. And what about bringing something? You bring like you've written here, bring a bottle of wine.
Yeah, I think like depends on the occasion.
Yeah.
One more time, and I think bringing a bottle of wine or champagne could be a great offer, like to the people that host you. One thing that you should not do most of the time is like to bring flowers to the lady of the house,
Why not?
because it could be really embarrassing. Like when you have like something in the oven and you have to pull the flower in like a big
Like a vase.
a vase.
Yeah.
And so, like in the French manner, you should send the flowers before arriving
Really?
during the day.
What? So
Yeah.
you send the flowers during the day and
Yeah.
say, thank you in advance for dinner tonight.
Yeah,
Really?
exactly.
And
And so the lady of the house can place it in the vase and put it on the table and say, "Oh, thank you for the flowers."
I like that.
Yeah.
But in terms of bringing wine, I think most people would probably opt to bring wine to a dinner party. I'm not very good at choosing wine. Any tips?
I think it depends on the kind of. You're gonna bring like red wine if you know that the host gonna, like cook meat, red meat or something,
Yeah.
and try to bring white wine for, I don't know, for fish or for seafood.
And like, because I've been to a few French house parties for like a birthday or something, and they say they get irritated because everybody brings a bottle of red wine. Because they just end up with like 20 bottles of red wine that no one drank, Everyone
Yeah.
goes for the other drinks. Is that like a different feeling for a house party to a dinner, or?
I think for house parties, it's better to bring a bottle of champagne or something
Yeah.
because it's more festive.
Yeah.
And for a dinner, I think a bottle of red wine could be fine. Most of the time, if you go like in a cave and you get advice from the cellar.
I love how you say cave. Like I imagine something because in French it's cave, which is
Cave,
like a professional.
Yeah, but it's called a cellar. Right?
Yeah, a wine cellar. That's
A
what
wine
it's called.
cellar,
Yeah, when you first said it, I was imagining like some caveman in the deepest sub-Saharan Africa. But no, what else have we got here is so you're sitting down for the meal, and France can be quite old-fashioned with this whole respecting the lady of the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Walk me through this here then.
In most of the French houses, when you are invited to a dinner, it's the lady of the house that's gonna serve you, and after that she gonna sit, and basically you should not start eating before she's served and she start eating as well.
Mm-mm. What happens if you do? What happens if tomorrow night when we go for dinner I accidentally take a little bit of chicken before she sits down? Will they think I'm rude, or will they just think, he's a foreigner?
I think for you it's gonna be, it's a foreigner, doesn't know or something.
Yeah.
But if you're invited with other strangers, and that
Yeah.
could be fine because you don't know like the cultural stuff.
Yeah.
But as we said, like for people going to another dinner, it could be good for them to wait for the lady of the house.
Sure. I mean, you're saying a lot that a lot of things depends on the specificities, but
Yeah.
I've been in a situation before where I never would have guessed it would be an issue. I was with some quite young neighbors. They were early 20s, and I was with my wife, who's Swedish, gender equality,
Yeah.
right? And we sit down. I say gender equality because in Sweden it's like gender equality on steroids. Everything is very equal. And there were 4 of us around a table at their house, and Lena, my wife, reached over and picked up the bottle of wine and started to top up. And the 2 guys, like, they went white in their face, you know, and they were like, and we could see that they didn't. We could see that they were uncomfortable. And we're like, what? And they go, look, it's no problem. But some people in France would be very upset that a woman is pouring the wine.
Yeah, exactly. Because in the French mindset, it's at the man to have a look to the glass of the woman,
right?
And to see if she's not missing anything, like water, wine, whatever. Once it's down, you have to fill it up, and it's a kind of you please the people you are with, and
right.
it shows that you take care of them.
Right. So maybe the 2 neighbors of mine, I never thought about it like this, but maybe they were going white because they were worried that they hadn't filled her glass.
I think it's...
Do you think?
Yeah.
Because I always thought they were worried, like, why is a woman touching the bottle? But maybe like it goes a step back. And it was actually them that felt bad about what they were doing.
Yeah, I think so. Like, it's already happened to me, like in a dinner or with friends, and I was like, and my girlfriend just grabbed the bottle of wine, and I was just, oh shit.
Really? So you felt bad that she was doing it? But how do you, like, you know, countries like Sweden or you know, many other countries where it's very important that people are equal, anyone can fill the wine. I mean, does part of you go, she can fill it, it's all right, I don't mind?
Basically, I don't mind as well, but it's like in the manners.
Yeah, it's just something you're brought up with, right? Yeah, well, there you go. If you want to take a tip from it, you dear listeners at home, keep in mind that if you make all the other people go white with panic, it might not be that you're touching the wine. It might just be that they feel guilty they weren't doing it themselves. You've got another interesting point here. You've written, "Don't cut the salad."
Yeah.
What is that? This one, I don't know what you're talking about.
Basically, that's coming from, like, I think it was like the Middle Age.
Right.
When we were using like silver knives and stuff, and because they were made out of silvers, and due to the vinegar put in the salad, when you were cutting it, you were like endamaging the knives.
So the vinegar damaged the silver knife.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So you should like fold your salad using the back of your fork, and just eat it.
And
like
so
that.
you fold. So because the forks traditionally were made out of a different kind of material to the silver knives. So you'd use the fork to fold with the back of the fork. If I get this right, fold it over like you would, sort of like if you're folding a pancake.
Yeah, exactly.
And then stab it and then eat it.
Yeah, you stab it, you eat it.
So why do they still care? Because no one's using.
And on top of it, there is also like another reason from that. It could mean that the people that made the salad didn't cut it right as well.
Oh,
There's
right.
So
you mean like it's
they didn't prepare it well.
So if you're cutting your salad with a knife, it's a way of saying you didn't put in bite-sized pieces for me. Jeez, what a minefield! I don't know. Let's hope they're not serving salad tomorrow night. What about towards the end of the meal? We can sort of wind this dinner, this imaginary dinner up here. Towards the end, you've got this. How do you pronounce it? Digestif. Yeah. Say it again. Digestif. Yeah.
Basically, digestif. It's most of the time once you add coffee, you add cheese, all of that. You also will propose you like to have a liquor. Could be Calvados, cognac, whiskey, and it should like help you to
like digest your food.
To digest your food, yeah.
Right. And so, like, the thing that I find interesting about this is you're having the digestive, as I call it in my Australian accent.
Yeah.
And then is that also a clue from the host that dinner's over and, you know, we're at the end stages?
Yeah, it could be a way for the host to say, okay, do you want a digestive or something?
Yeah.
Like in a way, okay, it's going to be time to go.
Yeah.
And if you feel that it's time for you to go before the host asks you for anything. A good way to say, okay, I want to leave is, do you need help to clean
Right.
the dishes or something?
Right.
And it's going to say, no, that's fine, you can go, I'm good.
Do they usually
Yeah.
say no in France, or do they
Yeah,
say
most
yeah?
of the times say no. It depends after, like,
Yeah.
when most of the students will say, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
so they don't ask at all.
so, so students in France won't ask. If
Yeah, they
can.
don't have dishwashers.
Yeah,
so
right.
they just say, okay, that was good.
So what
Thank you.
about tomorrow night? Are we going to ask the host if we can help?
No. It's not the concept at all. So.
No. Okay, so what? So now we can talk about, now that I've got all the sort of golden rules under my in my head, you can tell us a little bit about. So tomorrow night we're experiencing this Voulez Vous Diner idea together with a few other people, I believe. But there'll be people out there who've never really heard of it before, and maybe it's something for them. So why don't you explain what it is that you do?
Yeah, so basically, Voulez Vous Diner is an online platform on which you can find local chef and eat at the places in 120 countries.
In how many countries?
120.
120 countries,
Yeah.
okay.
So we're mainly in Paris and in France, and we developed in the US, in Canada. We have some people in Australia as well, where you're from.
Okay,
So.
wow. And so the idea, is it that you're eating at an actual chef's house, or is it just someone who likes to cook, or?
I said chef, but it could be anyone that love to cook and that have those values of sharing and meeting new people.
Right. So you go, the idea is, and I think, and one of the reasons that I thought it would be interesting to have you in the studio is that a lot of foreigners or tourists want to come to Paris and they want to get an authentic experience.
Yeah.
Rather than just, I mean, it's quite an authentic experience to eat in a bistro in Paris as well.
Sure.
But the idea of, like, someone like me who doesn't regularly go to a French dinner party can get to experience that.
It has like several plus. Like in a way, it can give you like an authentic experience. You can meet local that you cannot like really enjoy time with other way. And if you go in Paris, you go to one of those dinners, and the host can give you all his best places to go,
right?
Like in the area or something.
It's a good way to meet a local,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
It's really about like creating links between people from all around the globe.
So it's kind of like what did you call it? Like a share platform? Is that what you said? Like a platform?
Yeah, online platform.
Kind of like Airbnb for houses, but this is for dinners.
Food. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and how long has this been running for?
We started it in 2011.
Right.
I know in 2019,
19, yes.
so 8 years ago.
Right. And what kind of people are using the platform at the moment? Do you get a lot of tourists doing it?
We have a lot of Americans and tourists from the UK that coming to Paris and that want to really try this French experience and being with locals. And we also have like Parisian or Marseillais that just go to meet other people out of their like social circles.
So, but how does it like at a typical one? How many guests go for dinner?
Could be from one.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're alone and you just don't want to go to a restaurant and be by yourself, you can go to one of those diners and like meeting new people and don't be alone. Could be also a good way for people that doing business abroad instead of being in their hotel room and eating.
So you get to actually meet some people. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I get you. And they can be up to, I think the one we're going to tomorrow night has like 10 people going or something.
Yeah, we're gonna be 13.
13 people. Yeah. Okay, right. So it could be quite a party. Quite a lot of dishes to wash up at the end if we're unlucky. Okay. And what about what's the future for the company? You want to get to more countries, or you want to take over the world, or?
Yeah, we want to be the Airbnb for food and being like a really social alternative to the restaurants.
So, and the website is voulezvousdiner.com. So that means like, would you like to dine?
Yeah, basically it means would you like to dine?
Yeah. Okay, there you go. So Voulez Vous Diner. The website will be in the show notes. You'll be able to find it. But Antoine, time has absolutely flown. Thank you for coming in the studio. And tomorrow night when we go for dinner, I want you to keep an eye on me to make sure that I've remembered everything that you've taught me.
No bother.
And have you got a last word of advice for all the people listening to this?
Champagne is good.
Champagne is good. Okay. Are we going to bring some champagne tomorrow night?
Why not?
Okay, good. Let's get that party started. Thank you, Antoine, for coming into the studio. And, I'll see you at dinner tomorrow night.
Thank you, Olivier.
So there you have it. That was this week's episode. A really enjoyable dinner experience for me. I'm going to share some of those pictures from the dinner on my Instagram channel. Go and follow that. It's just at the Earful Tower. You can figure it out right now. And I'll put on the day that I'm releasing this, so Monday, I'll put the pictures from the dinner that I had the other night, and you can see what I experienced. But time for a word from our sponsors. I figured what I'd do, seeming I was running around Paris all week filming videos, is I'd sort of turn it back a notch and explain what's going on with the idea of French Today presenting the Eiffel Tower. What it is I'm working together with them. We figured it would be a pretty good match, the fact that you guys like listening to audio about Paris and France, and the fact that they do audiobooks about learning French. We figured we could work together. So the idea is you can buy any of their audiobooks online at FrenchToday.com, but if you add FrenchToday.com/Earful2, EARFUL 2, the digit 2, then you get a further 10% discount off all of their audiobooks. What does that mean for you? Well, it means a pretty good saving, because they're often doing, I saw on Valentine's Day, they had a 20% off sale. So sometimes they're doing sales as well. It means you get a further discount. And even better, you'll improve your French. And I'm doing the same thing. So the idea was I would do the audiobooks. So I would be a student of Camille and learn French along the way. And then I'd share this journey with you at the end of the episode. That was the deal. And that's what I'm doing. But I figured today I'd explain a little bit about how French Today works, rather than telling you about sort of the bits that I've picked up, or rather than playing some audio with Camille. Because if you're following her on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see she's in my home country. She's in Australia, gallivanting around, having a good time, finding platypi. She's having a lot of fun. So am I. But let me tell you a little bit about French Today and how it all works. The way it works is, so I'm at level 2, and there's, I think, 8 levels to work through. My French is more advanced than level 2, but I'm working my whole way through it in the hopes of ironing out. I think Camille talked about my French in one of the earlier episodes. It's sort of building a stronger foundation. I've learned kind of street French from the basketball guys and from living in Paris for 4 years, and it needs a bit of ironing out, Camille told me in no uncertain terms. And so it's been quite good going back. And the idea is you put it in your ears, or you put it on the computer, and it's a story, like it's a tangible, linear story that you can sort of follow along. So, for example, in level 2, you follow the life of a young girl who's traveling in France, and each chapter is like a little story. So you read the story, you listen to it, you repeat it, and you can do it at different speeds, 3 different speeds: slow, fast, medium. Street speed is kind of the level that I go to, which is a bit of, the kind of the way that you speak in the street. And then after the story, after you've done all that, there's like a study guide. And in the study guide, they'll go over the verbs, they'll go over the new phrases, the new bits that you've learned. And then at the end of that, there's questions and answers. So it's all audio. You can repeat it, but you can see the words as you're going. I'm looking at it right now. So, it's quite interactive. And like I've said in previous episodes, it's best to listen to it when you can repeat it. It's the best way to learn French. Repeat, repeat, repeat. And then in level 2, you'll see there's 17 stories. That means 17 study guides, 17 questions and answers, or in other words, a fair bit of audio to work through. So I'm about halfway through level 2, planning to finish level 2 by the end of the month, and then next month, level 3. And my goal is to go through the whole set of audiobooks all the way. But if you're listening to this now, in February, when it came out, you can use the link, which will be in the show notes as well, www.frenchtoday.com/earful2. You will have heard me saying in January, Earful 1. That code doesn't work anymore. The code is month specific. So if you're listening to this somewhere way down in the future, none of these codes are going to work, and it's a lesson to you. You should listen to the Earful Tower when it comes out. There you go. That's it for today. I just want to give you a sort of catch you up to speed on the French Today. And if you're not interested in learning French via the French Today method, that's fair enough. These little segments at the end of the episodes are usually there to help you or to hopefully teach you something or give you a look at something in French that you never thought about before. And often Camille will be in the studio with me. So there you go. That's it for this week. Good luck on your dining experiences around the world if you're meeting with French people. Good luck on your French learning. And once again, be sure to check out the YouTube channel for those videos that I did this week. But as for me, I'll see you again on Monday. Au revoir.